Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're going to do something just a little bit different on this build and price. Today we have a special Bronco we're going to build. I'm pretty excited about this. I have never even attempted to build one because I did try different trims over the time, but I did not ever try this one. So this one's going to be pretty cool. Let's go right on to the Ford.com right here. And there we go, folks. There it is. We are going to build a 23 base two-door Bronco. So you see 2023 Ford Bronco base. Of course, Ford typically starts off in cactus gray. This is the one we're going to do today. Let's do race red. Okay. So if I were buying this Bronco, it would probably be cool to do it with a 2.7. Just because, I mean, it's a smaller Bronco and you could, the sky's the limit. So here's the thing. If you're not going to really build this Bronco and do some crazy stuff with it, this may be one of the builds where let's just stick with the 2.3 because we did the 2.7 on the last one. Let's see what it looks like on price. But I think on the two-door, if this is one you're going to slightly modify, but like I said, not go crazy with the tires, let's just stick with the 2.3. That'll be pretty easy. Now, on the drive details, it's 4x4 with part-time drive. Let's see what it does if we add the full-time. I think we'll do that. Here we go. I was waiting for the pop-up. So the pop-up says, if by adding the 4x4 with full-time drive, it also requires the following changes. Now, I told you I haven't built one of these, so I am not familiar. The other trims I'm a lot more familiar with, but not this one. So this makes us go to the Sasquatch package. So I'm going to say no, because on this build, we want to stick with, entry level base Bronco that we can customize ourselves outside. So let's stick with the 4x4 part-time. Now, I know it's more money, but I prefer, if I was driving this, I prefer an automatic. I do like manual in sports cars. I'm not crazy about it in trucks and SUVs and things like that. So I'm going to go with the 10 speed. And that's a 10R60 transmission, by the way. Okay, so now we have our Bronco pick. We have a base 2.3 with an automatic. Remember, with a 2.3, you have the option of going manual. With a 2.7, you can only do the 10-speed auto. Well, here we selected the 10-speed, which was the two options, manual or automatic. We selected the option for about $1,500. The rear axle ratio included is 373. Then we have the 4.7, 4.46 or 4.46 rear locking diff. Let's see what happens here. Standard on Black Diamond, Badlands, and Wild Track. Available on base Big Bend and the Outer Banks. Okay. Let's add it. What does this do? Price-wise. It add something. $57.90. Wow. All right. So let's go ahead and go back and see, adding the rear locker differential also requires the following changes. 4x4 full-time drive. Which, yeah, no, we're not going to do that because remember, we're trying to build this Bronco so that it's not going to break the bank. Let's exit out of this. So as of right now, we're not going to have the rear locking differential. Okay, not the end of the world. This Bronco, we're going to do some fun stuff with it, go to the beach occasionally, picnics, and cruising around town, having some fun, doing a little overlanding with it. No heavy off-roading. So that's the idea behind this build. All right, so we can get away with not having that rear locker. And there again, there's that Sasquatch package. But remember, we're tempted, but we're not doing it. And the 16-inch bright polished silver painted steel wheels. All right, so they are steel wheels. Imagine that. I figured they were aluminum and made to look like steel. So we're going to leave the tires alone because if you start switching to the rims, those are Sasquatch wheels, and it's going to tell us you have to do Sasquatch, so we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with the tires, make that simple. So our Bronco is pretty much going to look like what you see here on the screen. Now, remember, this is something that we can really go overboard with aftermarket. We can change the headlights if we want to, the grill. I mean, as far as this is concerned, we can make us a heritage or our own version of a heritage with this one. So on the tops, now we're going to spend a little bit more time on the tops on this video. So this video will run a little bit longer. Stay to the end. I think you'll get a twist on this one from at least my perspective on it. The top retractable full twill top. So let's go ahead and pull this up here. It's $2,400. So you can see that's the like the best top, the fastback slope in the back. Um, I don't think this top goes back like the standard. Okay, so let's look at the tops on here. Spend a little bit more time on this. So as you can see in the picture, we have our two-door base. Now, when you look on the tops, this may be a little bit confusing, but let's go ahead and let's see what it looks like if we try to add this first option. And it let us add it without an issue. You see what I want to look at here is let's take that out. I'm going to hit the information on this top. It says top, retractable, full twill soft, available on all Bronco trims. So this is all the trim levels. Now you could argue, well, do they mean doors or do they just mean base, Big Ben, Black Diamond, so on? Let's read this. Run as fully enclosed all season soft top or enjoy the option or enjoy the open air with multiple open top configurations. Sunrider features allows the top to easily open from the inside of the vehicle, unobstructed overhead view of an open air experience. Innovative no zipper windows for easy removal. Designed to work seamlessly with factory doors. Rear tailgate opens without interference from the rear window panel, standard in twill fabric. All right, small print. I'm having to read it kind of slow there. Not available with soft black cloth with hardtop prep kit. Prohibits the use of rails with crossbars. Trek top by Best Top. So, you know, the Trek top's got that fastback look. So, dealer installed option, shipped separately from, so 2480. So I guess now from what this is saying, and even though the picture's showing a 4-door, there's nothing here that tells me that we can't get it on a 2-door. So I'm assuming that they have changed that. The Bronco comes from Ford with the MIC top. So we have the top mesh shade. Let's see what this says here. Available in all Bronco trims. Mesh fabric allows you to open up your Bronco without the effects of harsh overhead sunlight. Well, that helps. So that top mesh there. Now, does it hold up? Is there a lot of wind noise on the highway? I don't know. If you have one, I'd love to know in the comments. Please comment below on that. So remember, we're trying to save money, right? So the idea we're going to kick around, tops are more expensive aftermarket, in my humble opinion. I would say in this here, because you could probably wrap it up into your finance. And if you wanted to do that, order the soft top option from Ford and just put it all into the deal. And then, you know, other stuff that you do later on would definitely be, you know, aftermarket. We have the soft canvas bimini. That's $390, by the way. And it ships separately of the vehicle. Just the same thing with the soft top. Okay, so front bumper, Ford Performance Heavy Duty Modular. That's the option in the bumper here. Now, this gets into, if we're going to put a winch on this and we're going to go aftermarket, why spend the $825 unless you're doing the Warren 10,000-pound winch that Ford has for the Bronco? Now, I don't know why we couldn't do it on the base. I know that we're not going to end up with Lux, and so we're not going to have adaptive cruise control interfering with it for whatever aftermarket bumper we want to use. If you put a winch on the modular bumper from Ford, then the adaptive cruise control is okay. But if you start changing the bumpers out, then you start affecting how that works and all the sensor location and all of the calibration. And that's not something that you want to do because it does turn into a safety thing. So I don't advise that at all. So if you know you're not going to keep the bumper that's on it, you know necessarily you're not going with a winch that will mount to the front modular bumper. Say you're going to go with a lifestyle off-road bumper. Um, Stay with the standard bumper. Don't spend the $825 to upcharge on the modular in this case, because you already have a bumper picked out that you're going to buy and do yourself later on. So save that money and keep the bumper that comes with it, which is not something you can mount a winch on. It looks good, but it's like I said, save that money and invest. Now, if you want the Warren winch and you want the you like the way the modular bumper works, well then order it for 825, have it installed already, and you're halfway there. Okay, so steel bash plates. I am interested to see what this looks like if we add these here and see what it does. Does it tell us something crazy? No, it says adding steel bash plates also requires the following changes. Add the front bumper Ford Performance heavy duty modular. Well, there you go. So if you want the bash plates from Ford, you are going to have to do that front modular bumper. Now, I do know that you can get aftermarket skid plates. So there again, if you have your eye on another bumper and you want skid plates, that's going to be all aftermarket that you're going to be doing. So let's just say no because we have a bumper picked out and we know what we're doing. Okay, body armor protective molding. If you haven't seen these, let's just pop this up. This is the area here. You get it on the corners, and it's like a black covering. Helps it there. I don't see the need for it. I guess some people do, and that's cool. I have seen a cyber orange four door with them, and adding that black to that orange really, or that yellow, but cyber orange made it really look good. Then there are flare kits. Now this is interesting because on the trims I'm used to, we have the fender flares from the factory. So let's see what this says here. Let's just hit info on this one. Fender flare kit, base style steel. Okay, well these are steel. They're a little bit different. You can see they come out. They're more of a flat design, and they're angled, mitered in the at least, yeah, on the especially on the rear. It's a little harder cut on the front, but more of a tapered on the rear of it. That's pretty interesting. I haven't really stared at these. So these basic yet functional steel fender flares help to provide protection from debris kicked up by the trees and whatever else. They're easily removable for tight off-road trails. Heavy duty steel construction, black powder coat finish, which is pretty cool. I like that. Includes corrosion resistant, quick release hardware. So I'm sure the hardware is similar to what we have, but we have the MIC plastic ones where there's these like quarter turn clips underneath. I like this option right here. I think it adds. It's different. It adds. They're steel. Definitely room to keep them on there when you do something with bigger tires, a lift, skid plates, different bumper. I think it'll look really good. It's available on base, Big Bend, Black Diamond, Outer Banks, and Heritage Limited Edition. Requires two-door. So there you go. Not available with Sasquatch package, splash guards, front and rear are not compatible with fender flare kit. Base style steel, DIO, and body appearance kit. Yeah, yeah, something new. So I haven't been looking at two doors, and so right here together, we're learning on this. It's pretty cool. What do you say we go ahead and add them? $520. Okay, now the splash guards. I'm not interested in the splash guards. It's basically mud flaps. But you'll see it here, $220. See the mud flaps. If it was straight street and we weren't going to do all this other to it, might be an option, but not for what we're doing for. So let's go ahead and save our money on that. Tube doors. Now, this is interesting. If I want, I'm not doing a lot of other crazy stuff with this Bronco, right? It's mainly on the street. I'm going to use it to have fun with, light off-roading, the beach and things like that. It's fun. Let's look at the tube doors. Remember, we're trying not to spend a lot of money. Now, if we do our homework and we look for anything aftermarket, do we like the way it looks and is it cheaper? or are they built better or whatever. But let's just say that we haven't found anything aftermarket. We're really not, ready to go that route, but we say, hey, let's wrap this into our financing, even though interest rates are higher right now. Let's wrap it into the deal because it's not going to affect my payment by that much, and I can get it relatively quick, either with the Bronco when it comes in, or to be shipped to the dealer separately. And generally, these things come separately from the Bronco. The Bronco comes from Ford, and these come from an accessory um, company, whoever manages it. So let's go ahead and do it. And it might tell us we have to do something else. Let's see what happens. And no, we doesn't. It basically, it just shows us what it would look like, and it does it over the door. It's interesting. It didn't remove the door, but imagine the red door being gone, and that's what it would look like. $1,360. So let's go ahead and go with it. It's a good looking piece. It's going to fit, and that's what we're doing. Now, body appearance kit. Now, I really let's go ahead and see what this is. So, body appearance kit. Take your Bronco to the next level with the muscular look of a body appearance kit. Oh, I've seen this before. So, you have the hood scoop. See it right here. We have the door moldings, fender flares. Now, remember, the fender flares, you would get some double up stuff. You could go back and, if you like these flares, and get rid of the steel ones. Not unless these are steel, but the picture is hard to tell, but they look MIC. Let's see. Hood scoop, door moldings, and fender flares for the 2-door or the 4-door models, designed to complement the retro style of the Bronco. The hood scoop, thermoformed with high impact multiple layer ABS. Cyanoplast polymer. Sorry, I probably butchered that up. Combined with patented interior over molded elastomer finish. Man, that just sounds complicated. So it sounds like it's a finish made to make everything outside look the same. Maybe the grill, the sights, the fender flares. Door moldings, lightweight yet durable polyurethane construction, fender flares injected with lightweight, flexible polyurethane elastomer. Yep. Okay, good deal. QE quality, scuff resistant satin black finish, easy no drill installation using 3M double sided tape and 540 adhesive. Available on base, Big Bend, Black Diamond, Outer Banks. Not available with Sasquatch package, side steps, splash guards. That's the $1,700 kit. Now, I'm going to say, even though all that sounds cool, we went with the metal fender flares before. We're not crazy about adding the hood scoop and the accent on the windows or on the door. So let's not go with that on this one. But we know now what it is. Cockpit cover. So we're not going to click on this because the video is going to go really long if we keep that up. But the cockpit cover is basically a partial car cover. Goes just over if you take the top off or you have the roof panels out, it'll basically, you can cover the Bronco up if you have a pop-up rainstorm. Roof rails with crossbars black. I would say for $365, this is a must-have. These are very expensive to get aftermarket. I would dare say you're probably not paying shipping. If you are, it's baked into the price. Now, this may be something that would come on the Bronco from the factory. So if that's the case, there's no shipping involved. But if it's shipped to the dealer, I don't really know how they're doing that. I know I didn't pay any shipping when we got our aftermarket dealer accessories sold through the dealer, through Ford.com. So we didn't pay any shipping on that. All right, removable hoop step. There's my good old hoop steps again. Well, you can see what these look like if you haven't seen them already. The hoop steps here basically just give you a help getting in. Now, I would say on the base Bronco, the way it sits is who knows, you might need it. I don't know your situation, but let's just say I wouldn't need those steps going in. But now maybe if I'm doing Sasquatch, or if I'm going to lift it, doing my own thing, I'm going to have 35s on it, maybe even go really wild and go 37s, but I have a lift on it. They might be a really good option to get. The price depends on who you go with. Aftermarket is very competitive, if not cheaper. But we are going to pass right now because remember, we are trying to build this on somewhat of a budget. All right, so the brush guard. We're going to pass on the brush guard because remember early on in the build, we didn't pick the modular bumper and it requires the modular for that. Wheel lock kits, I'm not worried about those with the steelies on there. I don't think these are, high theft items. Wheel locks would come from wherever you bought your aftermarket wheels from. Maybe look for something cool there. Engine block heater. This depends where you live. Depends on where you're going, where you're going to travel. Are you going to head out to the Rockies in the winter? Might want to look at doing it. It's only $100. Let's go ahead and add that just for the heck of it. Keyless entry. So it's not something I'm interested in. I don't know. It's just me. I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but I don't know. All right, color black onyx included. Seating, cloth seats, dark space gray with black onyx. All of that is included. Interior options. So we have the cargo area storage with the fixed lid. $640. That's an option. Especially with a soft top, it's nice to have somewhere to keep something that is more secured. It would take a lot longer to get in that. I'm sure someone still could, but it would take a lot longer and make a heck of a lot of noise. Let's pass on that because this is something we can always get from the dealer later. And you really don't know what we're going to do in that back area yet. Maybe we're going to do something aftermarket, maybe nothing at all. Because right now, the foreseeable future, we're looking at adding communication, exterior lighting, and a lift and bigger tires. So right now we're going to say, hey, hold on, we got to watch our budget. So you have the cargo area storage trunk. Then you have the cargo area protector. What is that? That is not something I'm familiar with. Okay, so that's just that match, different term. So that's the rubber mat with the bucking horse on the back. Now that's the same raised and color horse that you get with the Bronco rubber mats inside. So you have the front mats, which have no color on them and they're all black. But then you have the rear mat and you have that raised whitish gray bucking horse that would go right over the transmission hump, right? And you can play around with this and read. I'm not going to have to read all that to you, but you can definitely read that. But let's pass on that. And then we get into the accessories, which is interesting here. It's not offered, at least on the Badlands. I haven't checked any of the other trims yet. But as we get to those builds, we're going to check this. But right here, the assistance kit, I call it the roadside kit, for $80. It's not a bad thing to pick up. I would say let's go ahead and pick that up. A little bit of collectability in that maybe one day. You might think, well, really? Well, when we find old Mustangs, there was a travel pack or a travel bag that in tools and things like that. It was this plaid looking bag. If you find one of those original to the car that it came in, it adds a bit of collectability to that, and it adds a little bit of price to it. So we've added that kit for $80. Now we have another roadside kit for $210. And what we can do, not in this video because it'll go like 3 hours, is you can actually click on the information. That is the little circle over here to the right of each box. Before you click on adding it, it basically explains what it is. If you like it, you want to add it, then you hit the plus arrow on the left-hand side and simply add it to the build. First aid kit, I highly recommend that. I have one. It's in a really nice package. I say package, a case. Looks really good. The case is something that you can reuse. So obviously you can just refill it. Definitely recommend it. I don't know where else I could find something that just wasn't, a cheap little plastic container. Would probably cost maybe a third of that, but this looks a lot better. If it's like the one that I have, it has a raised Ford logo on it. Auxiliary switches. Now, I'm just going to add it and tell you why. If you're going to consider aftermarket stuff, lighting, winch, who knows? I highly, highly, highly recommend that you upgrade to the auxiliary switches. This is something that's expensive and sometimes very difficult to do after you receive the Bronco. and you might end up putting toggles just wherever you can get to them. So auxiliary switches, I would highly recommend. There's plenty of videos with people that are trying to retrofit their Broncos and they're running into problems and wishing they would have spent the $200. It's actually 195 to do it. So I definitely recommend that. We went ahead and added it. Floor liners, front and rear with carpet mats. We don't want anything carpet in there. Floor liners, front and rear without carpet mats. So that's something we could consider. Right now, let's pass on that. Upgraded front and rear carpet floor mats. So we're going to pass on all the carpet and we're going to go basic. And I tell you what, because this is the Bronco, because we're not getting another new vehicle for a few years, let's change our mind a little bit and let's go ahead and add the floor liners, the front and rear without the carpet. And let's just go ahead and add it. It's $160. Um, they're very, very cool. Cargo net kit. You can get it now. You can get it later. Let's pass on that. We're not doing that. Oh, let's see what we have here. Storage bags, front and rear. And this always gets me. Storage bag, front row, top panels. Those are included with the top. Stick with that. Um, it's going to be good to go. Then you have the storage bags, front row, top panels, and door. So have the storage bag for the front row top panel. Hard top sound deadening headliner included. Certain trims you have to check this, and there's no charge for it, but you have to check and add it. If you depends on what trim, keep an eye on that. If it's not already checked, check it because it is a nice add. It looks good, and it does add that sound deadening to it. Probably a little bit of an insulation factor, even though not very much, but it wouldn't hurt. The tailgate table is something that we could do, you know, later on if we want to. We have the safe deposit console lockbox that we can do. I'm not going to do that right now. We do have Sync 4 with this. Um, and there you go. Audio upgrade, Sirius XM with 360. So 2023 base Bronco. Here we are. We are going with the tube doors, the roof racks. We have the MIC top. We have the 2.3, but we did upgrade to the automatic. We have a few accessories in there that we just talked about. So here we go. You can see the package here, the 10-speed automatic, 373 rear gear, and the standard package 101A. So we come through all of our options here. We did the fender flare, the steel ones. We have the tube doors. We have the roof rails and crossbar. Great price on that. We have the engine block heater in case we live in a cold climate or we plan on visiting a cold climate. And assistance kit for the road. So the roadside kit. Auxiliary switches, highly recommend that all day long. Let's see. Base MSRP for this Bronco is $32,295. We've added $4,435 in options and destination charges $1,595. Total MSRP is $38,325. So there you go. That is the build for our base Bronco. If we're going to build it to do plenty of this stuff aftermarket, highly recommend build it this way or similar. You can add, take away, whatever works best for you, but just give you some ideas, especially on auxiliary switches, something that's hard to do aftermarket. Everything else you can pretty much, get the right engine you want, get the right transmission you want. But a lot of this other stuff you can do aftermarket, but do consider that rear locker. If you really want that rear locker, you're going to upgrade to Sasquatch. Sasquatch package will come with a lot of stuff. It'll come with. There you are. I hope you liked the video. If you do, please hit like. And if you haven't already subscribed, even if you have subscribed, so if you haven't subscribed, please do. We'd appreciate it. But either way, hit that bell icon and all notifications so you'll know when we go live and when we pop a new video. And there you go. Our base Bronco build. That's how I would build it if I was doing it. Hope you liked the video. Definitely have more coming up and see you then. Bye.